All right, so maybe by now you've seen the anti-work guy, the moderator of that subreddit, who came onto Fox News and spoke about the anti-work subreddit. It's a subreddit I've talked about before, actually, because they've seen a huge explosion in popularity over the past several months, and they reached over 1.6 million subs recently. Well, some quick and easy observations about this interview are if you are in any way in charge of that subreddit and Fox News invites you on, you probably want to go a little deeper in your roster to get someone that won't have a messy room in the background and looks like they just woke up 10 minutes ago and looks pretty disheveled and appears to not have their life together at all, or many things going for them in life, or many motivations or passions in life, other than a passion for not working, I guess. Because a lot of people, for better or for worse, have an idea, perhaps a stereotypical idea, about what kind of people you are. Wouldn't you want to break that stigma? Can you break that perception even just a little bit? Do you have someone who's articulate with at least an orderly room, for starters? And perhaps, forget the suit and tie, just something decent. Just so, you don't completely confirm everything that most people think about you. You couldn't have picked a better person if you wanted to solidify the anti-work community as a community of lazy people who want things just handed to them. If that's how you want to be viewed, right, just lazy people who want to be given everything, then this guy was the perfect choice. That is unfortunate, though, because I do know that not everyone on Antiwork are like this. Not everyone. I used to go there once in a while. I still do. I mean, it's down now, but I've done that for years, actually. I've known about this subreddit for a long time. Most of the time it was for fun because there were always posts about just wanting to lay around and not do anything and have everything taken care of and never have to work to rid yourself of any worry, which is pure utopianism. They were heavily and unapologetically Marxist, and they were right out there with it. Those posts absolutely exist, where people would say, I shouldn't have to do X to have all of this stuff just given to me. Which I always enjoyed reading that stuff right after hearing from socialists on Twitter saying that socialists don't want to just be lazy and have everything handed to them. Well, after reading that kind of stuff on Twitter, I'd then go to the anti-work subreddit and just watch as a bunch of socialists do exactly that. They would say they were owed nearly everything under the sun, and them working or being productive should be untethered from what they are entitled to. It's pure immaturity, nothing more, really. But there were some other legitimate posts from what I assume are well-meaning people on the anti-work subreddit. People talking about dumb decisions their boss makes or the manager being a hard ass. And believe me, I've worked long enough to know with 100% certainty that terrible bosses and supervisors absolutely exist. And some places of employment have goofy and sometimes downright stupid policies and expectations of employees. When reading through the anti-work subreddit, I actually found myself saying, yeah, I've experienced that, right? A boss piling on useless stuff when you're trying to finish tasks that actually matter. That happens. Been there, done that. But the problem with sending a guy like this on is that you just confirmed a bunch of people, a bunch of things that people generally think about you anyway, whether they are right or wrong. You just confirmed it. You should have sent someone who could articulate some issues you found at certain places of employment, where reasonable people could say, okay, yeah, sure, a boss screaming at you for being 5 minutes late, even though you've been on time for 2 years straight, yeah, that boss is an ass, and I could understand being anti-working for that guy in particular. But they didn't do that. They sent a stereotype. Because let me put it this way, if a libertarian was to go on Jesse Waters, or if they were to go on CNN or wherever, I would not want a libertarian who goes on who just starts screaming and ranting and raving with their face turning red and veins bulging out of their forehead and screaming over everyone and not letting anyone get a word in edgewise. I might agree with every word that person is saying, but I would not be able to call people crazy if they then started distancing themselves from libertarianism and didn't want much to do with it because now they think we're all loud, boisterous, unlettered people. I'd rather have, Dave Smith on. Or me. I could do it. That'll never happen, though. We all know that. So to the people of anti-work, you need to think these things through a bit more. I know you don't like putting forth effort, but you should put some effort into this. Because here's the thing. At one point in this interview, the guy from Antiwork says he works 20 to 25 hours a week walking dogs, and he's 30 years old. I truly have nothing against that. There really are people who want a simple, quiet life as stress-free as possible. So, they don't want to have kids, they don't pursue careerism, they just want part-time work with their one-bedroom apartment, and that's the height of what they care to achieve in life. I sincerely and honestly have nothing against that. I even sympathize with it to a degree, and on some level I understand it, especially as a slight introvert myself. I get it to some level. But if that's what you want and you're happy with that, go for it, or just go get it, because that's not too hard to achieve, honestly. My only issue really is the entitlement. That's the only thing. They just want everything handed to them. And it sounds like a cliche 1990s Republican talking point, but it's true. Because, not for nothing, I can point to endless posts in the Antiwork subreddit filled with claims that they shouldn't have to worry about food or housing or medical care or getting a car. Society should just be set up so all those things are available to anyone at any time. Again, you would need a gargantuan government to even attempt that utopia, and due to the calculation problem and government incompetence, which is inherent in the state, it will never happen. And certainly won't happen with any quality to speak of. But that's my only issue. It's filled with entitlement and attitudes about how the world owes them everything. Well, it doesn't. The most we owe you is to not mess with you if you're not harming anyone or destroying or violating private property. If you're not doing any of those things, then any violence against you, and yes, even this anti-work moderator guy, any violence against them would be unacceptable. But that's it. The world just doesn't owe you these things, especially if you're able-bodied and want to just lay around. Go for it if that's what you want to do, like I said. But there is a cost to that. And hell, if anyone is in a position to whine and cry about the world owing them something, I'd make the case that I could. If I were like these people, I could. I would never do that, though, and I'm not like that. But not for nothing, I've been doing this YouTube channel for almost 5 years. Very little growth. I have I take that back a little bit. Not very little growth. I have, 1,200 subscribers. I started at 0. I mean, that's something, but yeah, on that timeline, it's pretty little. I have 2 patrons on Patreon who I'm unbelievably grateful for. I have a completely frozen increase of subscriber counts and viewership on my channel. YouTube, I know, does not put my stuff anywhere where it might be seen. If I looked at this channel in a purely financial sense, let's be real, given the time I've put into it, it was a terrible return on investment. But I love doing this. I love making videos. I'm excited to do it. When I see a topic I want to talk about, even 5 years after starting this channel, I still get excited. So when this anti-work moderator says people should be able to do things they're passionate about, I agree, so go do it. And if you end up getting paid, awesome. But if you don't, it shouldn't be the end of the world if it was a passion. The value is in doing it in and of itself. Like I said, I have a Patreon for this channel. Link below, by the way. Wink, wink. But I don't feel that by virtue of someone listening to me, they owe me money. Now, if everyone listening to this does go and give $2 or $3 a month, I would be completely lying if I said I wouldn't be happy about that. I'd be actually completely freaking thrilled. But even after 5 years, I'm not owed it by you or anyone who happens to listen to me. You're not owed money simply for painting a picture or taking a picture or writing a song. It's awesome if you do those things and get a lot out of it for yourself. And there definitely is value in that. But the reality is, if no one is willing to give up money for it, you don't get money for it. That's life. And it sounds like I'm a boomer or something, even though I'm not. But these people, frankly, just need to grow up and mature. I don't really know what else to say about it. But anyway, that's all for now. Like, subscribe, and share this video. It's extremely appreciated. And you take it easy.